Nguyen. How do you feel to finally be at the aesthetic meeting?
I mean, I feel great. I love meetings. It's
Do you think like
I do. I think meetings are it's a good time to unwind, but I think and unwind a bit, you learn more, you feel energized after a meeting, you learn new techniques, you feel pumped up
yeah,
to take care of your patients. But I think the best part honestly is reconnecting. Like
that is the best
all
part.
the people
Yeah,
through your training, like it's like you're constantly studying and learning throughout your entire life. Like, this whole process is a life learning process.
yeah,
But I think what we forget to do a lot is to cherish the connections that we make with our colleagues, with the people we like struggle through residency with people we struggle through fellowship with. Like I think all of those, even like past attendings that have taught you and given you skills. So it's like a good time to like appreciate where how far you've come.
yeah,
And then at the same time just enjoy your celebration and accept and like kind of celebrate the stage that you're at.
for sure. And I think it kind of reinvigorates like the spirit of the aesthetic meeting is to kind of just be like a perpetual student
Yeah.
and not just necessarily learn when you're here.
Yeah.
And I think going to your point about like mentorship, like those mentors and your network helps you to learn when you're not at a place like this, when you're on your own, when you're operating on a patient, when you're trying to troubleshoot problems, like those are the people you count on, are the people close to you. And I do agree, it's like energizing in a different way. It's kind of a slog to get through like a full day of
Yeah.
learning as an adult. Like literally, we're here from like 7 to 7, and then we go to places where we're learning about new products and innovations while doing dinner and things like that. But the energizing part is that if you have a particular interest
Yeah.
and you learn something new, it becomes something that you just like want to do or want to try or want to troubleshoot in your head. It's like the mental gymnastics of surgery.
Yep.
Which I think is great.
Not to mention the exhibition hall. I think that's always fun to go to.
Yeah,
It's like tons of reps, tons of all the new products that you mentioned, new technology, and just how you're always realizing like the field is always advancing and you're never gonna know everything. But it's important to go to meetings like this so you can stay up to date.
yeah, for sure. And also, like, if like you're a kid and you like shiny new toys and presents, it's like the exhibition halls that.
It's like Toys R Us, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Toys R Us for plastic surgeons. Um, so this morning we're at the Rhinoplasty Symposium, which is basically a confluence of all the plastic surgeons who are have special interests or particular expertise in rhinoplasty, which is a very nuanced topic. And something like even the world's foremost experts in nose surgery um, are continually trying to work at a step closer to perfection. And I think that's something that's admirable, as a young surgeon aspiring to be great at facial surgery. I think it's like good to hear from people who have like, technically mastered the craft and in their minds are still working towards a higher goal.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that. Is that
Oh
too?
no, no, I think I agree with that. I think it's definitely it's like humbling to see, and then especially since we came from the Dallas Rhinoplasty meeting probably about 2 weeks ago, where it's focused exclusively on like all things aesthetics, but there's a huge component of it that focused on rhinoplasty. I think it's great to hear that everyone has a struggle.
Yeah.
Like even the greatest of the greatest, where we all think they just were born like that. I mean, you it's amazing that everyone's a human being. Everyone struggled at some point. They figured out a way that made sense to them, and then they're giving back. So it's inspiring because I think it's also a way that we know at some point, like everyone was through our shoes.
Yeah,
You know,
and literally, like you're standing in line and you're next to like someone who you're a huge fan of. They don't know who you are,
yeah,
but like they're like 20 years down a illustrious career, and you look up to them on Instagram, and it's like everyone across the ladder of success and mastery is here, um, and some of them are still learning. They're not just like at times they're teaching, but they're learning from other people, and it's just like it gives you a model of what you have to look forward to, I
yeah.
guess. How do you like Austin? Have you been there before?
I've been to Austin probably about 2, 3 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I went once a long time ago to explore the city when I was like an undergrad,
Yeah.
and then I went for the second time was I think ASPS was here like a year or two ago.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I love it.
Oh yeah, that's where we met.
That's where we met. Yeah, exactly. It's a nice place. What about you?
I like it. It's like I'm not really sure. It's like it has elements of New York City. It has like elements of other cities in Texas, like San Antonio and Dallas. But then it's like medleyed with like this really hipster
Yeah.
vibe,
Yep.
like Brooklyn.
Yep.
Or I've never been to Portland, Oregon, but I kind of feel like
That's what it would be.
yeah, or Portland, Maine's kind of hipstery.
Yep.
But there's like a commercial undertone to it.
Yeah,
There's
for
like
sure. And the city itself has developed a significant amount. I think it has a little bit of mixture of the best of both worlds. There's lots of outdoorsy things to do. Like the hikes are amazing.
yeah.
Barton Springs is amazing.
I've never been to.
So like it's a great place. Um, I don't know if you'll have a chance to go during the meeting, but at some point, Carolyn should come back and visit when no winter comes.
We've been to Austin like so many times.
Oh, okay.
We've been to Austin like when we lived in San Antonio. We went to
close.
Austin like 4 or 5 times.
It's about like a 2 hour drive.
2 hour drive, and but we never did.
It's hard for a kid.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to do outdoor stuff with kids. Maybe when they're older.
Maybe with them. I mean, dude, Hawaii. We did the bare minimum.
Oh, did you?
We went on
Seems
one
like-
hike.
Yeah, you guys like brought her out on like
We
a
only
photo
went on one
shoot.
hike because Jessica wanted a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And that hike was they kind of downplayed it. Like it wasn't paved.
Oh yeah, no,
But,
it looked
we
like
have
you
a
were in the
3 month.
jungle.
My pants ripped. I don't know if you saw
No,
that.
I did see your face.
My pants ripped.
They did a good job. They concealed it. It was
And
really good.
mud was all in our toes. Like it was off. It rained on us, and I was like at the point where like it was like a very steep cliff because they were like, oh, it should be fine. Like Jessica asked, like, should we just go to where they did like Jurassic Park, which is like it's like an easier like drive, and they're like, no, this is fine. It's like a secret waterfall place. It's not touristy, and they're like, it's probably like a 10-minute walk, like a hike that's like really easy. It's just a little bit steep. And so we're like, oh, you sure? We have a 3-month-old, and they're like, well, she should be fine in the carrier. The youngest we've done was 4 months.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, fine. Dude, it was a fucking jungle walking there.
It looked gorgeous though.
I know,
But it
but
looked like they were like campers.
I was like very concerned about falling and like
Yeah.
smashing Astro.
Yeah, for sure.
Like legit
Yeah.
concerns when they were like, I ripped my pants because there were like literally trees falling down. So like you have to get underneath it or over it. Like it was more of a strenuous hike. And then like I got down, just was like, you gotta go lower because I I touched a tree with my back, and of course, just because I did, like we should all wear white, and like mud was just all over it. And then I ripped my hands. I was like, I can't go any lower, and it just ripped. I was like, fuck it. But at least it was a time we were going back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Oh man.
good times.
David just went on a big trip with for a wedding. You were at a wedding, right? For a wedding. And it was planned a long time in advance, but he's just so happened. Well, he just had his first kid. Actually, we both just had kids this year.
Yeah.
And at 3 months, they went on this extravagantly long plane ride. So it's nice to have.
We debated for a long time, but when do you actually get to do this? Like we talked about it,
Yeah.
and we are like, I know Jessica was like, she wanted to cancel, or she didn't want to go. She said we wouldn't go, but like, when are you ever gonna do it? This is the only time like all my grade school friends went. Like grade school, college, high school, elementary school, because it was like a friend that I've known for like since high school.
And it's hard because in training, it's like, you never really have the time. You miss a lot of family events and milestones for the people you care about. And, we've been training for a really long time. So I completely empathize with that. And there's never like a good chance.
There's never a
in
right time.
life, it's
And honestly, I think I used to be the complete opposite, right? I think I always had a plan going into life. Like after undergrad, I was always like, what can I do as a freshman to start getting my application ready for med school? And then in med school, I'm like, what do I want to do? I need to figure out my specialty. And then once I find that out, I need to start like looking for research. How do I get my application ready for that said specialty? And then same thing with residency. And then residency, you're like, oh, I just want to, be a good surgeon. I want to learn all I can, be the best I can be. Life can pause. But something happened in residency. I don't know, like a light switch like came on or something. But I'm like, life happens regardless, no matter what we're training
Life
or not.
keeps going, whether or
Life
not
keeps
you
going.
know you're, you know, despite what your ambitions or your sense of ambition would want to tell you, life keeps going. Not to in that vein, like I would be the type of person where like I would finish a full day of work and stay to do extra surgeries
Yeah,
just because I wanted to be ahead of the curve when it came to that,
yeah,
you know. And in retrospect, I don't know if it mattered.
yeah.
You know, it doesn't like. I think there's other ways to achieve mastery and still like create some balance.
Yeah.
You know.
I think balance is more important than we realize. I think we're kind of, I know all the older surgeons didn't think about the new generation, the gentle training and all that.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is like if you don't have an important work life balance, not saying like, you should focus all on your personal life. If you don't have a strong foundation in your work life balance, you lose the sense of passion and fulfillment. Like you have to have
Yeah.
a good balance. And then you go to work. Like I like to go to work happy, excited. Like I don't want to go to work because I have to go to work. I want to go to work because I choose to.
Right. Right.
It's a little bit of both, but I think we're privileged enough to be in this specialty where we love what we do, and
Right.
it's not just like you know
Right. And we both come
job.
from backgrounds where our family, parents, a lot of days they just had to go to work.
Yeah,
There's no choice. And it's a privilege to have that
yeah,
opportunity to love what you do every day. And I think your life outside of work has to be replenishing, has to support your ambitions in a way that is like supplementary. Um, because like you said, like the joy that you feel when you come to work is not a constant if those things are at risk.
yeah. Great. What are your what is your high and low of this year? I know we have 3 months left.
Yeah, yeah. I think with anything else, like anything else, it's like the people are the highs, right? It's like making relationships with the people. We work with a bunch of great people in our surgical center, in our med spa. Our attendings are great, and one of the joys of this year is that we get to extract that wisdom without having to sacrifice the um, the brunt of it. A lot of the time, hopefully, that helps us to propel us forward a few years. And in the last few months, I've been really leaning into that. Like I'm trying to get all my questions out, trying to get all my troubleshooting out, because pretty soon it's just going to be us. And
Yeah,
like, I want to look ahead for all the problem spots that I can avoid. In terms of lows, it's like this is a process of introspection. It's like we're constantly looking inward to see what you can improve and what can be improved, so that you're not, you know, wasting time and money when it's most precious. Um, it's hard to say. There's like so many things.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Sure, I think I agree with all those. Some people, there's just a lot of. I think the year isn't over yet, and it's weird because it's like March. The year just started for us. The fellowship starts from July to June, and or July to July. So I think there's just a lot of things. I think for me, the highs coming in was one, obviously, we both had our kids. I think that's a like things went well for both, and I think that's always a miracle to just see that. I think the second thing is honestly, man, met you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
No, like seriously, I think like you said, the people, and it's like I know even though we've only met, I just knew when we met in Boston exactly. What 1 year ago or 2 years ago? 1 year ago.
Oh,
Last
when you
year.
go? Yeah, yeah,
Last year, I think I knew I was like it's gonna be my brother. Like
yeah, dude.
even though it was a short time, I think it doesn't matter. I think we are kind of in the same situation. I was like, man, I feel like I met you know like my twin.
Yeah,
But on top of that, all the people that you said, like it's great learning, training from a very efficient practice. All of our attendings are amazing. They provide excellent mentorship. and it's really, really kind of awe-striking, if you will, to kind of witness how they do something every day and have made it that you can also practice like that. So,
Right.
we've been doing it, so I think that's great. Like, I feel like we've been elevated in our confidence, our surgical skill, our efficiency, much more than we have the year before. And I wish we would have done something like this in Austin when we just met, which would have been kind of weird or odd, but just to see our answers and see how things changed.
Yeah.
But I think my lows, I think, would be honestly, I don't know. There's much. It's hard. I think, yeah, I don't know.
I'll be honest. I beat myself up a lot, and for little things.
The imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
the
exactly.
imposter
It's like
syndrome.
never.
Yeah, the imposter
Right.
syndrome. Yeah, I agree with that. I guess that's never really going away, but I think it softened
Yeah.
this year.
Right. Right.
I think I've always had that through residency. I've had chief residents even talk to me like, like, oh, that imposter syndrome. Like, you, you worked hard. You like know your shit. Just be good.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's not like me being in front of patients or in front of attendings or anyone. Like, I don't think anyone knows that I like go through this internally, but I have an internal battle where I'm like,
100%.
like prepared enough, even though I've done the case in my head 50 times before I ever like even marked the patient. So it's like it's relieving that everyone else is like, oh, I can't tell that you're like you're having these internal battles, but I think that's one of the hardest things.
That's something that's so true because it hits home in so many ways because I really think that being vocal about feeling like that should be normalized. And I think some of the best surgeons are constantly battling their inner voice that says like they're not good enough or their results aren't good enough or they could be better. And that's what like that not settling into complacency I think is a survival behavior that is can only be more and more beneficial as time goes on. Um, I'm gonna say something like a little controversial, maybe to some people, but residency training, plastic surgery residency training is especially is meant to kind of create a well-rounded, safe surgeon.
Yeah.
And the reality for most plastic surgeons, no matter what fellowship you choose, you do craniofacial, you do micro, you do hand, or if you do aesthetics like us, um, at some point in your life, you're going to be tempted by the um, I guess by all the benefits of autonomy, money, lifestyle, practice choice, of private practice. Like it's a reality. If you look at some of the biggest plastic surgeons in the country, they started off heavily in reconstruction, like microsurgery, and then eventually made their way to aesthetics. So the disservice is that we don't get any business training on how to run a successful business. We don't get training about how to maximize efficiencies surgery to surgery, how to maximize your relationships with your staff to benefit your practice, things like that. And that's why this is so rewarding because you get to see the pace that is required to be successful. You get to see the efficiency and the results of what's required to be successful, and to implement them um, like in situ, like in the moment, is invaluable. You know,
Yeah.
otherwise I would have never really had that. I've visited private practice past, but none of them function at the level that ACPS does, and none of them have the staff that are as on the same page as our staff is. So I really think we have some of the best staff in volume in the country. And I would, so I don't know what else I would. I don't think that. I think I landed at the right spot.
Yeah, I think it always everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. I think you might have an idea. Luckily for both of us, this is at the top of our list. But if you think back about your match days or everything else, like you think you have an idea of where you want to be, where you want to go, but honestly, everything works out the
Yeah.
way it's supposed to work out. Like
Yeah.
when you least expect it. And I think that will carry on through everything. I believe, I strongly believe, you have obviously you have to have work hard, you have the mentality, but I think it's also like I think honestly, I've given 100% in my work ethic, but I think a lot of it is fate or luck. Like I would say 90% is like your work ethic and all that, but then 10% to kind of get you there is sometimes fate and luck. Like
Yeah.
the way your cards are dealt. Sometimes you're a bit more fortunate than others. Sometimes the stars align for you and it just works out. And so I think it's a combination of both. I don't think 100% of hard work and work ethic, no matter what, will make you successful. I think there's just a component of also that game, like luck, fate. Give your all no matter what, but hopefully that 10% extra will get you to your that finish line.
Yeah. I also think like showing up maximizes your chances that you'll get somewhere. Like you know what I mean? Like you have to keep trying at it, or else Wayne Gretzky says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
um, any last things before we start our first day here? Instead of meeting, for some prospective residents or prospective fellows or um, anyone interested in getting plastic surgery.
I think my main thing, I'll kind of give, my advice would be to anyone wanting to go into plastic surgery. This is for the medical students. This is for even residents looking into what subspecialty to do. I think the main focus is on you guys for this meeting. Like it's hard. Like once you're there, once you're an attending or you're out in practice, you know what you want to do. I think the field of plastic surgery is very overwhelming. That's why it's so great. And I think it can be very scary to see if you can thrive or succeed in this environment. Don't give up. I believe in yourself. You're qualified to be here. As long as you work hard and you know what you have to sacrifice. And I think all you need is a good positive attitude, a good work ethic, and honestly, I think the stars will align. So don't give up. Have faith. Do good work. Be kind. Be positive. Be proactive. Help others. I think that's the other thing. It's like you're trained in medicine to always compete. But I think the environment, and I'm hoping that the kind of the new generation or the new environment for training now, so like we can all succeed together, lift each other up.
Yeah.
And that's the importance that you mentioned of mentorship. And so don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid. I remember being a medical student and being like intimidated to come up to anyone, but don't be afraid. Like you can look at the name tags, see if they're a fellow or resident, if you're scared, but they've literally been in your shoes.
A lot of people have been there before you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, agreed.
I think I would say something that maybe applies to anyone. It's like if you're aspiring to any goal, I think you should weigh the field. You should know what's out there. You should see a diverse set of experiences. You should levy the advice of many people, good and bad.
Yeah.
I think that applies to us as finally finishing our training. This is an elective year of our training. David and I could have been in practice, a year ago, but we would not. We would have missed out on some of the valuable lessons we learned this year.
Yeah.
And it's also applicable if you're, someone that's like aspiring to be a plastic surgeon or you're looking to have plastic surgery yourself. Weigh the options, come up with a risk benefit analysis, and put yourself out there. All this, like anything in life, it's really like um, exposure matters. Because if you have a very myopic view of the subject, you're more likely to make like a more, for better or worse, a dramatic decision,
Yep.
Or impactful decision. If you take your time to kind of like source information, you're maybe better educated about that stuff. So I think in the vein and the thesis of learning and higher education, I think we can all do better to do less of trusting your instincts and your gut and what the advice that someone else gives you, and really pursue that information for yourself, to see what's out there and go get what you really want.
Yeah, I agree. Well said.
Awesome.